educator family. Welcome to Strategist Sunday, right here with Strategic Educational Consultancy Services, where our mission is to empower you, our educators. We are in the month of Navigating November, and can I say, Navigating November, it's coming to an end. And so this is one of our final features for this month, but we will continue the guiding principles when we get to December as well. And so we're at guiding principle 4, which says teacher sharpens his or her professional skills. I am Carla Boswell-Lewis, and also acknowledging my content creator, Kadaba Bernard Brown. And so we're looking at guiding principle 4. Remember, educators, that there are two appraisal documents, the beginning teacher and then we have the experienced teacher. In this feature, we are going to be combining both as we look at it, because we do know that the appraisal is about growth and it should be geared towards helping you as a professional to become reflective in what you do and to demonstrate excellence. So we're looking at the standards that obtain within guiding principle 4. And 4.1, it says rigorously assesses one's performance in the teaching and learning process, collaborates with peers to critically examine one's teaching and learning experience, creates a personal plan for improvement, and shares successful practices with peers. And of course, this is for the beginning teacher. Now, what are some evidences that you can put forward? Of course, you'd have your action plan clearly outlined as to what is it that you will be doing as you assess yourself and as you collaborate with your peers. Your professional development plan, what is it that you hope to obtain or you hope to gain as you progress through the teaching learning process, as you move from year 1 to year 2 to year 3. Your professional journey, evidences of your reflective practice. How have you been teaching? What have you been doing? Evidence of participation in professional learning community, we call it PLC. So you are actively involved in a PLC where you're getting information on strategies and techniques, and you're collaborating and you're doing many different things to enhance your teaching approach. Or a professional study group that you are a part of. You could also include previous appraisal documents. What do we mean by previous appraisal documents? Of course, as a beginning teacher, at the end of the first term, you're usually assessed in the school system to see how have you been for the first term. And so, or even in the second term, you're being assessed. So you would have had, when you get to the final part where you're doing the formal appraisal, then you'd have had previous appraisal documents which will show your strengths, your weaknesses, and what you have improved on. And then there's also peer assessment. You can allow your peers to assess you. Maybe they could come to your class and they sign up a sheet as to how you have been doing. And of course, this would be an experienced peer that you are asking to assess you. All right, so that is it for the beginning teacher for 4.1. Now, for the experienced teacher, the standard that is there, it's saying continuously assesses one's performance in the teaching and learning process and creates an individual development plan for improvement. So what you will realize, educators, is that the principles are the same. However, the standard is where there's a little change. So for example, in 4.1, it spoke to something different for the beginning teacher, and here as the experienced teacher, it is saying continuously, while in the previous one it was saying rigorously. Right, so just note some slight differences. Now, what evidences can you provide that you are continuously making assessment? Your action plan, your professional development plan, professional journal, or evidence of your reflective practice, evidence of participation in professional learning community or professional study group, previous appraisal documents, peer assessment. And these are the same evidences that are coming across from the beginning teacher. But here it is, because you are now allowing students to provide feedback as to what you do. So unlike in the beginning teachers standard, where your peers would be providing assessment or feedback, here is where the students are now involved in the assessment process. So you may have students journal with feedback on teaching environment or the process, students feedback sheet that you give to them to ask them how have you been for this semester or for this school year. And of course you improve the lesson plans, because when the students provide you with the feedback as an educator, you are going to be looking at your lesson planning approach and what is it that you do, the strategies, the techniques and the methodologies that are being used. And so you can provide these as evidences, you can highlight them to show what is it that you are doing. And so we move to standard 2, and standard 2 in guiding principle 4.2 says seeks out and pursues opportunities for improving mastery of content and methodology and builds competence in the use of technology in education. So remember, for each standard we're going to focus on the beginning teacher first, and then we look at the experienced teacher. And so the evidences that can be provided, you're teaching practicum evaluations. If you are just moving out of college and this is your first job, you could show the practicum evaluations that were done, so they would have seen your growth. Certificates from subject area related professional development sessions, so maybe you went to a math session where they would have taught you or trained you as to how to deal with solving certain math problem or stranded math, or methodologies that you can use, approaches that you can use to teach math at a particular grade level. Then you would have shown your certificates, or even the letter of participation would also help. And then there's also certificates from professional developments on teaching methodology, where they would have exposed you to different strategies that you can utilize and you have participated. Then you will show your evidences. For colleagues as well who you have done short courses, yes, you may have done a short course on teaching strategy, you may have done a short course on how to be reflective practice, a short course on boys teaching and learning approaches. Then you are going to share these short course certificates that you have completed. Then there's also evidence of mentorship received from a senior teacher or an instructional coach. You have been going through the mentorship process, then you would need to provide the evidence to show. And then there's also samples of materials that you have developed using technology. So you may have done YouTube videos for your students, you may have done Canva worksheets, you may have done Quizlet, quizzes, the different apps that are there, Kahoot. You may have done a Kahoot, you have a Kahoot account and you build your lessons into it. Then you are demonstrating here that you are using technology to enhance what you do. And then there's also evidence of membership in a professional organization such as JT. You have the Science Association for Teachers, and you have CAHE, right, for home economics. And we do know that there is math. Different subjects will have their organization. It could be ASCD, where you are looking at supervision and they provide you with materials and you participate in conferences and so on. Then you provide your evidence for such. Now, the evidence is for the experienced teacher. You would have had the lesson plans using the integration of technology. You could also demonstrate on your understanding of the Assure model, and you could search on our YouTube channel for the different videos. We did one on the Assure model, which is a model that is geared towards technology. How do you select the resources that you need to use with the students? There are also samples of materials developed using technology, YouTube videos, Canva worksheets, Quizlet, quizzes, and Moodle. All these are evidences. Certificates from technology sessions or training sessions that you attended on how to use Quizlet, on how to use Edmodo, on how to integrate quizzes, Google Classroom. You are going to be presenting those as well. And also you could present evidence of your participation in service programs geared at improving your skills as a teacher. And so these are evidences that both the beginning and the experienced teacher can provide for the guiding principle for standard 2. Now the next one is 4.3, which says maintains higher order functioning through strengthening abilities to reason, reflect, make fair judgment, evaluate, analyze, and interpret. Now, what are some possible evidences that you can utilize here as the beginning teacher? Of course, your evidence of 5 E's and 4 C's in your lesson plans. We also did a lovely video on that as well that you can look at. You can search the content and you will find it there. There's also use of Bloom's taxonomy in writing lesson objectives, your specific objectives. You will provide evidence of that. There's also action research too that you may have participated in. And remember, educators, as we share with you the possible evidences and what constitute the principles, you are planning for your professional portfolio. So even if you have not done some of these as yet, you still have time in which you can plan and collaborate to do such. So there's evidence of action research to raise the achievement of boys and or girls in your class or in your school. Actual lesson plan evaluations at the end of each lesson. You should always ensure that you evaluate your lessons, and so this can be used as evidence that there's higher order that's been utilized. And then feedback also from students on your lessons or your general approach to teaching and learning. And earlier I made mention of the student feedback sheets, the journals that you can use to provide evidence, testimonials. You can use those. And you know, sometimes educators at the end of the school year, a student may have WhatsApp you a message to say, Miss, thank you so much for helping me. We recently had our second K passes, and I'm sure that there have been students or parents who message you. Those are your evidences. Screenshots, save, and you have them. It could also be for the PEP exam, where persons would have texted your parents and students say, thank you so much, Miss, for working through. These are testimonials. These are evidences that you can bring forward to use to demonstrate your excellence. And then we look at the evidences for the experienced teacher. And so here is where you are going to show evidence of membership in a professional organization, JTA, ACD, evidence of participation in quality education circle, QEC, initiatives and sessions that you have participated in, evidence of collaboration in assisting teachers through mentorship. There's also, you know, the evidence of being part of a subject association. So if you're in home economics, there's the CAHE. You're in science, there's ASTJ. You're in math, they have different ones. If you're in English, there is the National Association of Teachers of English Language, and you may also want to, and there are other subjects as well. And then you may have evidence that to show that you are part of clubs and societies that are related to subjects, such as the 4-H club, where, you know, the students who do agriculture, teachers who teach agriculture, teachers who teach home economics. You know, you have also the JACE, the Entrepreneurial Jamaica Association of, you know, young entrepreneurs that teachers participate in. You want to show that you are part of that and you're actively involved in that where that is concerned. There's world skills in schools. You want to show that as well, that these are related to subjects and things that you are doing in your classroom, in your teaching and learning experience. These are evidences that you can bring forward for your appraisal. And then we are going to look at 4.4. And so for the beginning teacher, the principle of the guiding principle 4, the standards end at 3, so they go from 4.1 to 4.3, and so they would have more points, that they would have less points than the experienced teacher. And so here for the experienced teacher, 4.4 speaks only to the experienced teacher. And here it is saying collaborates with peers to critically examine one's performance and create a framework for improvement, share successful strategies with peers. So this is all about collaboration. Now, what are the evidences that you can bring to the fore? Of course, there is peer assessment. You have your classroom observation sheets that your colleagues may have come to your class to look and see what you are doing and to make notes and provide you with feedback. There's also the professional development plan that you would have started out with. What is it that you hope to accomplish for this school year or for the next two school years? And of course, you would have started to work through your development plan from the get-go. Evidence of study group participation, you're a part of a study group. Observation sheets. If you are studying, you are at university, maybe doing your master's or your PhD or a short course, bring forth those evidences. There's co-planning of lessons. Show evidence that you are co-planning with others, that you are sharing the knowledge. Team teaching lesson plans. You know that you can team teach with a colleague. Show evidence that you were a resource personnel to subject classes. So a teacher may have called on you because you're knowledgeable in a particular section of the content for a subject, and you taught the class. Show your evidence, right? There's also presentations that you would have done with colleagues at your school. You share something maybe about the assessment, the appraisal process, or how to do assessment or motivational skills or so on. You want to show that evidence, or sometimes schools may have invited you to do a training in Google Classroom or to show teachers how to use Kahoot or Google Slides or so on. Show your evidence. For some of us as educators, we do publications in journals or newspaper. Provide your evidence. And it doesn't have to be like a national newspaper. It could be a local newspaper. It could also be, different organizations. They have their journals that they put forth at a particular time. JT has one. NSTEL, if you're a part of NSTEL or you have been through the program, they sometimes send and ask for you to submit an article for their magazine or so on. You would want to do that. You have a YouTube channel that you use. You want to put that evidence as well. Your Google Classroom links, because did you know that by you providing content to students that you have created, because it is there in the e-space, persons can get on and utilize. A student could take down a video that you did to show some demonstration or to share some content, and they can use it. You see, in our Jamaican context, not everyone will be able to do the large scale publishing, but when you have put out information on YouTube, Google Classroom, Google Slides, and you share it with others, that's also a part of publishing, a part of putting information out there that others will recognize and utilize. And then you may have links to PowerPoint or slides that you have created. And so all these are evidences that can be put forward for guiding principle 4. I trust that as you have listened to this discourse and as you have participated, we have been looking at guiding principle 1. We are now at 4, and we will continue in December on guiding principles 5 and 6, that you will do all that you can to gain the maximum points that are there for you to gain. And so, as you go through and you put your evidences, I must point out that for the beginning teacher, for guiding principle 4, it's 14 points that you are able to gain, and for the experienced teacher, you're able to gain 18 points. So you want to put together your resources, your evidences nicely. Use a variety of ways to present it. And so I trust that as you put together your professional portfolio, it will be a masterclass act that demonstrates that you have been doing the best that you can do as a practitioner, as a facilitator of learner in the teaching learning environment. God bless you all. Thank you so much for watching the videos, for liking them, for sharing them with others, and I trust that you will continue to empower yourself. As we empower you, you will empower yourself and empower those who are around you as well. Until next week, December, see you.